Well, joining us now here on the program, we want to have a conversation, just a nice broad conversation about plant nutrition, crop health, and some of the things that Ag Explore is doing to help farmers with their crop nutrition and more. Joining us now from Ag Explore, Gunther Krebs is with us here on the show today. Gunther, thanks for joining us, and it's great to talk with you. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, doing great, Jesse. Thank you for the invite. Great to be here today.
Well, let's set this up for folks who may not be familiar. Give us kind of that 30,000-foot view of Ag Explorer and the company and what you guys do to start.
Yeah, so Jesse, Ag Explorer is a 25-year-old company. We're based in southeast Missouri, that Cape Girardeau area. Jackson, Missouri is our headquarters. We've got two manufacturing plants there, family owned, owned by a gentleman named Tim Gutwein. So if you know the old Gutwein hybrids, that's part of his family, extended family. But yeah, we're family owned. We participate in three different categories in agriculture. When it comes to production agriculture, we have our fertilizer management. So we focus on nitrogen management and phosphorus availability and potassium efficiency. Then we have a robust adjuvant portfolio. And then really the one that's probably our fastest growing and our most innovative piece is our plant nutrition category, where we really try to challenge the status quo and how we farm and what we do, and turning those snake oils into it being productive and getting good ROI.
Let's talk about a few of those segments here and break them down. And let's start with the fertilizer side and management there. I mean, obviously, that's an area that's maybe a legacy area, so to speak, for agriculture, obviously with fertilizer, but we're always looking for different ways to manage things. I think about just a few years ago, the high cost of fertilizer. A lot of farmers were, worried about that. Now we've kind of gotten back to some better levels. So, I mean, talk about some of your perspective on fertility management, fertilizers, et cetera, and some of the things you guys are doing at Ag Explore.
Yeah, so Jesse, we put agronomics first, agronomics followed by economics. And then we challenge the status quo in basically everything that we do. So when it comes to like nitrogen management, for example, we call it a nitrogen management, not a nitrogen stabilization market. The reason we say that is that when you think about below ground activity to be considered a stabilizer, you have to impede biological processes. And let's face it, Jesse, you probably get Successful Farming or Farm Journal or one of those magazines, and the big sexy word today is soil health or soil biology. And we're intentfully going out and working against biological processes with traditional stabilizers, we'll call it, which has been a good thing to help us manage, to help stabilize that nitrogen, keep it available to a crop. But at the same time, it's working against our soil ecology. So what we've done is we've worked to create technologies that work with soil ecology, that when they're actually serve their purpose and their function, they actually break down and become a food source and promote biological health and biological communities in the soil. So we're working with it, and we've got a few different products. We have our End Zone portfolio that works with UAN and hydrous ammonia, and then we have a Contain family, and Contain Advanced being our biggest one, that works with your urea and solution markets to help to manage that nitrogen both above ground and below ground.
Well, and you brought something up and kind of challenging the status quo, so to speak. And I think to your point, a lot of farmers, they look at so many different products as well, and nitrogen management and all the different things that are out there. And maybe they don't know exactly what products to use. There's a lot of noise out there in some categories. When we think about, you use the word soil health, fertility, climate smart ag, things like that. So, I mean, your perspective on how farmers can best kind of narrow down and find the best products for their operation, and maybe those are products from Ag Explore.
One thing that I encourage farmers to do is ask the questions why and how things function, right? How does a soil amendment or a nitrogen management tool work? How does it function in that soil? How does it impact? There's a lot of questions. We've just been sold, hey, here's the data, it looks pretty, go use it. And today, I think there are just so many questions we can ask and educate ourselves on, helping us with our farms.
Well, and I think too, a lot of farmers, obviously, they're looking for the best ROI on their farming operation, and we're trying to grow the biggest and best and most sustainable crop we can. So it really does come down to having conversations and learning what's best to use on your operation so we can continue to achieve that, isn't it, Gunther?
Yeah, absolutely. Educate yourself, ask those questions, challenge your retailer, make sure that they're bringing you the best solution for your farm. I recently heard a comment from the owner of the Savannah Bananas. I was watching one of his podcasts, and his name is escaping my head right at the moment. But he said this when it comes to, he asked about training, and he said people don't like to be trained. Dogs are trained. People like to be coached, mentored, and educated. And when I think about it at AgX, what we try to do is we try to educate people, give them the reasons why we make our recommendations that we do, so that you do have the best outcome, the best ROI potential on your farm. So that's something that we're very passionate about.
We're talking with Gunther Krebs from Ag Explore here today on the show. You mentioned a new segment for you guys, plant nutrition. Talk about that a little bit, some of the different products you guys are working on there.
Yeah, so when it comes to plant nutrition, this is one of those categories that gets thrown into that snake oil category, right? Mm-hmm. People have gone out and they'll throw something at it, and then they just wait till the combine rolls to check it for a yield piece, right? For us, I love the comment, come back when you have something new, because this is where we specialize in. I love challenging the status quo when it comes to technologies and plant nutrition. Jesse, anybody can go build an analysis. You can go to any company today and have a certain NPK with a micronutrient package put together. That's easy to do. But it's the technology that goes into that fertilizer to actually make it efficient inside that plant and allow it to function. When we go to these fertilizer meetings and we listen to the people, for me, it's Purdue University. Across the state line to the west of me, it's U of I, Iowa State, Michigan State. All the professors, they talk about the 4 R's when it comes to fertilizer management, and it's the right product, right rate, right time, right place. I contend that there's a 5th R, and that 5th R is the right technology. And that's that right technology to make it function and be more efficient in the soil, to keep it available or to make it available. Or once it's inside that plant, there's technologies that work to help that plant mobilize those nutrients efficiently, or technologies that support the function of those fertilizers. Take sulfur, for example. Something that we've done is we've used a newer technology and put it with our XR5 sulfur product, which is a 17% foliar sulfur, but it supports the production of chlorophyll, which is one of the primary functions of sulfur in itself. So we're putting technologies with our products to make them more efficient and ultimately increase the consistency of ROI on a farm. Other things that we're doing. Yeah. So if you want me to jump into some other things, because trust me, I can keep rambling on this. I get excited.
Yeah, please go. Yeah, go ahead. What are some other things you guys are looking at right now?
Yeah, so a year ago, we launched the first ever EPA registered foliar plant nutrition product in U.S. history. So this is one that took us 3.5 years to get across the finish line. Believe it or not, working with the EPA was a little bit of a challenge, but we finally got it there. And it's a product called Architect. And Architect is a 10-5-5 built with a micronutrient package to support the acceptance of sunlight and to photosynthesize. It is also built with something out of the pharmaceutical world called GABA, which is gamma aminobutyric acid. And GABA does a couple of different things that are really key to the success of Architect. One is it drops stress, abiotic stresses in a plant. And 2 is it mobilizes nutrients within a plant. So it takes what you physically have in it and put into it and makes it more efficient. But the big thing with GABA, Jesse, if you've been watching the weather here the last few years, this time of year in the Midwest, we've been getting stressed. Like these in-season stresses of extended periods of dry weather. What GABA is going to do is it's going to drop that stress on that plant. Like on corn, when it gets hot and dry, it starts to roll those leaves, which is a natural shutdown mechanism to keep that plant from losing its water and evaporating its water out of it. What GABA will do is will drop that ethylene glycol. It'll allow that leaf to lay open, yet still close those stomata and hold on to that water, not evaporate it. So it keeps that factory churning and keeps that factory productive. Now, on soybeans, they tend to flip over when they get hot and dry. This will keep those soybeans upright and to keep them photosynthesizing and metabolizing and continue to grow. And we've seen tremendous results in these patterns of this dry weather that we've been having with Architect on an early application.
When we talk about some of these products and much more, Gunther, I'm sure if folks want to go online to agexplore.com, that's probably a great place to start to learn more and get in touch with you guys, isn't it?
Yep, agxplore.com is the place where you can find information. We've got data on there. We've got our labels. We've got some flyers on there, just some positioning pieces. We're very agronomic driven, so we try to give you the reasons why for our recommendations. So we also have information on there where you can reach out and physically contact us. And we'll have, if you send in a request, we'll have our local agronomist get a hold of you and work with you directly.
agxplore.com, agexplore.com. Gunther, as we wrap up here today, anything final you want to share or reiterate to folks just as they're thinking about different products to use on their operation, et cetera, what would you tell folks?
Yeah, look for education. Look for your retailer to give you education. Look for the why in doing what we're doing. Challenge the status quo. I'm going to encourage the farmers that are watching this. This is not always about investing extra dollars, but reallocating those funds and investing them the right way. For example, split applying, we know that the best way to manage nitrogen is split apply it first. I contend that in agriculture, there's two things that we need to do a little bit better on, and that's potassium and sulfur. So I'd encourage farmers to think about technologies and other applications to split apply those two products and be more efficient with them.
Learn more again at agexplore.com. Gunther Krebs with AgExplore. Thanks for joining us on the program today. Appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again in the future.
Thanks, Jesse.